We spent a good portion of our trip in Cebu, and then we moved to the capital of the Philippines, which is Manila. It's interesting because Manila is different than some of the other places we were in that it's a big city. It's one of the highest populated areas that we saw, like in a compact setting.
You come to Manila and they've got stuff in place that's been there for years, and I felt that all those children were like being looked after.
Hospicio de San Jose is a program that we call a program from womb to tomb.
It's a very old establishment. I'm thinking it's about 200 years old.
The facility is really large, actually, and it's quite expansive. If you were to walk the grounds and see all the different areas, it kind of left you in awe to think that I'm standing in a place that somebody else stood over 200 years ago.
The first day, we focused on the children, the children's ward. So we were at the infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and children with special needs.
My favorite place to go from a perspective of, wow, this feels really, really good, was the Hospicio de San Jose.
So this is Angelo, and he's got some torticollis. Basically, he really, really likes to turn his neck to the right, and because of that, he's getting some flattening on the back of his head.
That was the first facility where I saw a physical therapy gym, which as a PT, that was very exciting. And it was the first facility where I felt like people were actively asking me questions about how they could help the kids, and that felt really, really good.
And once he's over there, just gentle like that. This is gentle pressure.
We were continually embraced to do and try and taken around to all the different areas, which was just beautiful in itself. It was just so welcoming, and the feeling I got that if you didn't work that way, you wouldn't be there. So if you didn't love what you did, you'd be out the door.
One of my favorite parts of that visit was at the end of the first day, we kind of helped them put them to bed for a nap. And one of my favorite moments is one of the kids we were working with got in her bed, and then the next kid got in his bed, and they kind of squished all the beds together to make enough room. And they just reached out and like held each other's hands on both sides, these three kids. And I just thought, like, wow, it's so important to them. Like that, these were nonverbal kids who might not necessarily be able to walk on their own or ask for that type of nurturing, but they were providing it for each other in that moment. And I just thought that was so cool.
We spent 2 days at Hospicio de San Jose, and I think we were all pleasantly surprised. I think we were thinking it was going to be pretty rough, but it was amazing. They were really, like, these kids were really taken care of.
It restored my faith that there are good people out there looking after these people.
We also worked with the Lolas, which is the term for a grandmother.
There's culturally that offering where when you meet someone who's older than you, you take their hand and you place it on your forehead. And it, again, is that idea of human interaction, that human touch, and that idea of respect. And that made all the difference I felt when I was interacting with Lola Rezi. Like that, she didn't have words, she was nonverbal, but we had this moment, and it was our first moment of interaction, and there was a sense of reverence and respect.
The profound experience that I had there was when we got to work with the Lolas, the older population, the grandmas in the facility. And our first day there, we weren't working with the Lolas, and a caregiver was wheeling a woman around in a wheelchair, and I was walking down the corridor, and I was passing her, and just in passing, she reached out with her hand towards me and grabbed me, and I held her hand for a couple of minutes. And I had this really profound connection with her. And then the next day when we went back and we went into the Lola's room, they were all sitting waiting for us to come in and work on them and make them feel loved and just go ahead and perform these wonderful techniques of nurturing touch. And she was there. Her name was Andrea. And I found out that she was 100 years old. And when I walked in, I saw her and she saw me and she reached out to me again. And I guess I felt so blessed to be with her in that moment. I'm getting emotional. it was this woman who just holding her hand made me feel so present.
Love is like my key word for this trip. It's just there's love everywhere. I can't even express how much love I've received, how much love I've given, how much love I've seen intertwined with everybody, from the kids to our global ambassadors, just from Tina Allen to everybody.
So that is one way, no, of linking or networking, no? So that we could facilitate also the service, no? Because on our own, we could not accomplish all. So what you have imparted to us, no, these past 2 days, more or less will help us also gain skills, no, in how to attend to the needs of our residents.
The SOS Village, it was just a whole communal area where we went to actually talk and show people how to do massage, showing the parents and showing the children.
When we first arrived, they had an orientation for us because they had rules, they had regulations and structure, and you were to follow it while you were there, which was wonderful. So it made us more at peace because we knew what to expect and what not to expect.
They were telling us that it was really special that we would be allowed to see the kids, that not everybody gets to do that, and to really respect that and to honor it, which we do. But it was amazing to hear them say that to us.
I was really floored by the grace of the head facilitator. His talk with us was so profound to me. It just touched my soul in such an amazing way to hear his story about how he was an orphan and grew up in an SOS village, and now he's running one.
The SOS model is to keep them in a family-like setting where they have brothers and sisters and a parent, and that they can grow up in one place.
So each house with their potentially 10 children, all living together, all acting as a family. They are a family.
These are the kids that really nobody else wants, that they've been given up multiple times, and there's not really another type of a home for them. But when you go to SOS, one of the things you notice, this is a home.
They explained to us that their priority is not to adopt these children out, but to keep them in a stable home until they are able and ready to care for themselves.
I thought it was pretty amazing that they have one mother in the house for maybe up to 8 children, and then they have an auntie who is like a mother in training, and so the mother is somebody who's single, who doesn't have any children of their own, and who want to be parents.
They're beautiful kids and they're beautiful souls, and it was nice to see how loved they were. You would never have known that they weren't a family unit originally. It was really interesting to see how warm and loving that unit could be as it was put together.
We all paired off and went into different homes and met the children, met the mothers that were there, and we were able to teach massage, and they were very excited about it, very receptive.
They wanted to show you where they slept, where they ate at, like how they lived.
I think their homes are very sacred places to the Filipino culture, and to have us enter their homes and work with their families was incredible.
The mom that we worked with had she had 9 children in her home. She had been doing this for 30 years, and we got to work with them in their home, and they were so excited. They practiced on each other. Mom was really excited that the teenagers were learning so they could help her aching back, and it was just really nice to see it all come full circle in their living room.
The one woman that I talked to, her name was Mama Terry, and her and I actually connected because we had a little bit of history, which was similar.
There were some kids, of course, that would ask you more questions and would talk more and want to learn, not only just receive the different kind of touch therapy, they actually wanted to learn how to do it. And so I had a great interaction at SOS with little John Marlowe, who was sitting with me for a long time and was receiving the massage and the touch therapy, and we're doing massage stories for a long time, but you could tell he wasn't just receiving it, it's almost like he was learning how to do it so that he could keep on using it.
There was one girl, Mickey, who I think most people know. She was the one who was braiding everyone's hair, and she was the most talented person. I think she's going to be like the Prime Minister or the Mayor or something one day. Like, she's just got so many talents, it's ridiculous.
I think we were just starting to talk about things on what they like to do. It wasn't just about the massage and things of that nature. I tried to reach on their level, and it started with Justin Bieber and it went on to Kumbaya, I think.
Is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now?
I'm a toast on my knees, drum it, please, drop it down, be a lady in the freak. Oh.
They all wanted to be part of it, which was great, because that's what it should be, is that community coming together in a sense.
How intimate and privileged we were to step into these homes and teach something, and not only impact them, but have them impact us. And that idea of intimacy and nurturing.
That really touched and warmed my heart and made me really feel that what I was doing was really making an impact, and what I was doing was almost nothing in a sense. It was quite an experience and really overwhelming, to be honest with you. I felt like I was going to cry because it was so touching.
I joined this trip because I was really looking to connect with people. I had an opportunity to come into a different world, give care and love to strangers, and connect with them, which opens my heart, and I get to learn more about myself.
My mom being sick was probably the hardest thing to deal with and to come to terms with. We really don't have control in life. Although it's not my kid and it's not this, but it's my mom and she was the closest person to me, I felt alone in the world in a sense. And coming here, I feel like I'm a part of something, and I feel like coming here and giving so much of myself and allowing myself to be open has allowed me to feel more free and to be to realize that life does go on. I'll never forget, and she'll always be here. I'm obviously still emotional. It's only been about 6 months. But to realize that we definitely need to do more. And although I would do that 100 times over again, never want to live that again, I know that I could do that for 100 other people, and maybe a small fraction of a way that could impact their lives so much more. And ultimately, you don't realize it, but how much it impacts you.
You don't have to spend so much time to help other people.
You just have to do it. You just have to go outside yourself and make that choice.
The word ambassador, I think, has such presence to it, and it immediately felt that we were given this really big privilege and honor to meet these families who were in such need, and to see these children that are having a wonderful life. Like I think everybody that we've met on this trip, their idea of life has been so fulfilling. Like whatever it is that they've been given, they were given it and they fully embrace it.
It's amazing that they know that they're valued and cared for, even by someone who is perceivably some stranger who came all the way across the world to let them know that we're thinking about you. It's something that every kid should know, that they're important.
You can really impact the world with this gift, and to me, that's all that matters.